It's a bit of a long journey. The earliest memories Ian, of coming from a family where there's been war and struggles and things like that. Parents and two of us escaped from Hungary. This was just after the Second World War. Dad had been in the German army and then a partisan against the communist takeover. Um, so it was fairly turbulent. Then the struggles of a migrant family, troubles at schoolings, getting lashed by dad because I wasn't doing good at schooling, those sorts of things. Um, it was turbulence like that, coming up in sort of like a sort of a Catholic school with their dogmas and belief system, that sort of thing. Um, so it was a bit of a journey like that, but amidst that, I was also searching, looking at birds and animals and things like that, and comparing them to things that human beings make, and trying to. There was a massive difference, and thought, well, you know, how can this be? And gradually, it came down to more things like that. It was really a turbulent journey. So much so that eventually, out of just a troublesome youth, Dad ended up suiciding. Mum trying to raise her on her own, and sadly, I ended up just out of turbulence. Ended up getting into strife with the police, and then landed in jail. And just while in jail, I was at that point where I needed to explore this life and death issue, because it came to a crisis. All the props were taken away. The things that I'd searched out before of doing boxing and chasing fame and money and power, not finding that they didn't have a lot of substance. I was totally down and out, and suicide was the only real option. But as a last resort, well, I thought, well, um, I just want to find out whether all these people, 85% people, believe in some sort of spirituality or God or whatever. I thought, well, I must just suss it out before I knock myself. And in jail, in the privacy of my own cell, I explored, the living faiths, Bible, Buddhism, all those sorts of things. And to cut a long story short, I was at a point where I was just humbly yearning to find this life force, if it was there. And after searching for about 3 months, I was just really blown out, because the deepest heart-wrenching questions were being answered. I was keeping a journal, things like that, and I found that a living, compassionate, caring being was communicating, and this being I found to be akin to the historical Christ, who was out there amongst the hurting, the suffering, who stood up against injustices, who was a refugee, all that sort of stuff, but had deep compassion and the clearest understanding of what the God figure's like. That began to make sense, and I drew nearer and nearer to this being as it was working through me. I was able to do creative things with some of the prisoners. We organised a runathon where 52 prisoners, Creams, ran 7 miles each and raised $7,000 for the homeless. So these massive, you're gaining these insights and finding this life force working through me. I began to voluntarily just allow more involvement of this being, and drew closer, and I guess this is how my faith evolved, and then moved on to mission and a life journey. It's a fairly complex thing. I suppose I could sort of relate it to say a husband and wife, where they're deeply in love, and they work on their relationship. If they're not communicating or not listening to each other, that relationship can sort of break down. With this living being, this living being is concerned about many things, and um, this being will prompt to communicate that this being wants to spend time with us. It's a relational thing, and then us listening and voluntarily choosing to want to spend. There's nothing coerced, and so it's a two-way thing. But most of the time, it's us who wander away and get distracted, and can't be bothered to put time into that a relationship, or not listen or whatever. But look, maintaining your faith there's many things that that enable this to happen. Like lately, I've been listening to some wonderful prophetic singers. The Dylans, Joan Baez, quite a few other people who've had quite prophetic songs where they spoke out about issues to do with injustice, issues to do with human relations. That song by John Lennon, Bangladesh, just heart-wrenching response to people of massive suffering and that. Poets, so all these sorts of people are inputting into maintaining issues of concern and issues related to this caring being. This caring being is concerned about many things, not just just relating to us, but it's concerned about everything that's designed. It's professed to be concerned about every little sparrow, every tear that drops. There's lots of suffering in the world. There's, I think, about 24,000 children died every day, which so there's a lot of it around. But anyway, it's partly it's a discipline thing where you get up in the morning and think, I've got to start my day, or sort of just connect to the life force. Thank you, like Cat Stevens says, morning has broken. Thank you for a new day, and just please give me the energy and the guidance as to what to do from all the myriad of things that come in and bombard us with things that need to do. So you're open to. My regular work is with the homeless. So issues of justice, so that concerns me. Then you see beauty, you see. All sorts of things, but journeying with the homeless day by day, they've got a tremendous faith. They're struggling with issues of providing for their family, relationships, all those sorts of things. So there's a lot of concerns. There's you hear of people destroying the planet, and that there's concerns to that. There's water issues. There's the climate issues. There's a number of things that are impacting. So if we're open and aware and that, and you're tapping into this living force, and you're feeling the heart of compassion, that these things move us and help to maintain our health and help to live in a living relationship. Looking at issues of social concern, we're seeing now our government's heading more towards being run as a business. We're seeing in America, the big bankers not wanting to hand over money to be able to manage the social needs. Where Australia seems to be following the same sort of patterns and that. We're getting a lot of people accumulating huge amounts of wealth and that, and not sharing. We're getting. In my work, we're getting young people, 15-year-olds, being told they're unemployable. I mean, it's just terribly sad. We're getting, the media is very, very powerful. We're getting a lot of our people who are struggling with fear and phobias and things like that. It takes time to sort of build up trust amongst them. But we're needing to address not only the symptoms but also the causes as to what's going on. And we've got 50% of our people now addicted to just addictions, whether it's TV or information technology or whatever, and so they're bound up, and we need to sort of somehow try and release these people. I mean, looking as to where I'm prompted from, I mean, the historical Christ figure was a person who challenged situation. He was on the streets, stood by the oppressed, and challenged injustices, and that was one of the reasons why he got murdered. But in terms of this loving, caring being, he's prompted people over the years. We're seeing historical figures like the Mother Teresas, the Gandhis, the Mandelas, people like that. They were all moved by the historical Christ figure and the issues that he stood up for. So it's this loving, caring force, concerned about injustices that's causing us to try and be relevant in our context, and that context is of single mums, the homeless, Aboriginal, just the fringe dwellers, the voiceless and the powerless sectors. I mean, we go into many settings. We might go to 10 places of a night. You'll find all sorts of situations. So you've got to go in there with the experience, assess the situation, find out what the person helps themselves, or whether they're just using it. Like, I mean, we don't want to be part of a welfare system where people are making money out of charitable work. We want to be cutting edge. We don't want to be used up. We want the governments to be responsible in terms of what they're doing and be accountable before this creator bee who's concerned about justice. So we assess the situation and try and set up manageable goals for each specific situation, and journey with these people within their context. It's community development. It's nurturing responsibly, it's a holistic approach, physical, emotional, spiritual, and empowering these people, and it's only after we've built up trust that this close, intimate relationship can happen. I mean, these people are my family. I want the very best for them, and using all our resources, whatever we can access, to enable them to go forward, to cope and survive and live as best they can within the context of their confines. The kitchen here, we carry all the frozen goods, things like yogurts and meat and bread and things like that. So that's our kitchen there. Carry mattresses, and we fill up suitcases with clothing and give it out to the mums and that. This room's a little bit cluttered, but carry white goods for the mums and that. We're trying to get access, get the library. We take out a library with us when we're out on the van. We've got children books and self-help books for the mums and that. We carry a lot of shampoo, and we carry a lot of white goods for people. Often, if a mum's washing machine or fridge breaks down, they need to have access to things to just tie them through until they can get a hold of things. And also, just with the homeless, we sort of carry a lot of bedding and clothing and towels and footwear. Once again, all those things that are necessary, just to try and take out a variety of things on the van, so that as whatever people need, we might be able to respond to that. And it's just the bedroom and the bathroom, just areas where we've just got to sleep and that. So it's just more like a practical sort of a practical workshop from which we operate. So I could show you the van outside. If you go out this way. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Sorry. These are some eskies that we use to take things out. There's take out things in the suitcases, things like toys and that for the children. And then we've got the van, which is always got the perishables, things like fruit and veggies. I've always got the van open so that the cool air can breeze through, keep all the fruit and veggies, fresh bread, all those sorts of things cool, and so it can go out in a good state as possible. And so these two vans are either picking things up or going out. And once again, the vans also alternate for gardening, to be able to run out and do the gardening and earn the income to be able to fund the work. So that's pretty well it.